Hello, guys. I know I have not done Delphi in such a long time, but for those of you that aren't aware, the trial is going on right now. I wish I was there. They don't have it. They don't have cameras in the courthouse, which sucks. They don't let any of the people in there have get their phones, nothing. They can't have anything. Well, they can have a notebook and a pen and stuff, but I have been trying to just follow the people. Like, there's media that goes in, and then I think they let 20 people from the public, I think it is, so that people are like camping out to wait in line to get in. So I've been following Lauren from Hidden True Crime. She's doing an amazing job covering it. So she's been getting in every day, camping out every day, going in, and just doing a great job explaining every detail. Like, she explains, like, the feeling in there and what Richard's doing and what the family's doing, and just like different little subtle details that actually makes you feel like you're in the freaking courtroom with her, So it's pretty cool. And she draws little diagrams and pictures and stuff. So it's definitely helpful since they're not allowing video cameras in there. So yeah, this is my first video I've done since the trial started on the Delphi, but this whole week I've been following all the updates of what's been going on. So like I said, I'm following Lauren from Hidden True Crime, and then also I'm following some of the local news channels. So maybe this weekend we'll do a live chatting about everything, because that case freaking, that case is so, it hurts your head. It hurts your head because none of us know what the heck happened. It is, well, we'll talk about it this weekend. Hopefully I'll be able to do a live this weekend on it, but oh my Lord, it's like, it's not, well, we'll save that for the live. Okay. So I want to read this motion. It was filed yesterday. Well, depending on, I don't know when this video is going to be edited. So by the time it gets up, it might be 2 days ago, but it's a motion to admit evidence of Odinism. So they weren't going to allow Odinism in, which, if you guys have been following this case and read the Frank's memorandum, you guys know how that was a big thing when the defense, they came out with that Frank's memorandum and basically like gave us, the public, all this information that we had no idea that was going on, because they've been so secretive and like, I don't know what the word for it is, but like with this case, law enforcement, they have tight-lipped. That's a good term. But they've been so tight-lipped about this case for 7 freaking years. So this Frank's memorandum comes out, and not only does it have this theory of Odinism, but also it lists like a lot of specifics about this case that we had no idea. So it was very informational. Not only, like I said, to this theory that it presented, but also some of the stuff from the investigation that up until then, we had no idea because it was all sealed. So, but anyway, it basically presented this theory, this Odinism theory, with a different group of guys as being the suspects, right? And the judge ruled that they weren't going to allow it. They weren't going to allow it in to the trial. Well, here's a motion to admit the evidence of Odinism. And also, it was the first time like there was some serious doubt that it was Richard Allen. Because like when they first arrested him, I feel like everybody just kind of was like, oh, okay, guess they got the guy. But then this Frank's memorandum comes out last year, and it was the first time everybody started to doubt that it was Richard Allen. And then people just started like actually looking into it, like, wait a minute. And I don't know, it did the job. It did the job what the defense was trying to do, I tell you that much. It created a lot of people having a lot of doubt. And plus, we didn't know all the details of the case. It was all sealed, but we, I guess, trusted that they had a good case against Richard. That's why they charged him. You know what I'm saying? We were thinking that. But then the Frank's memorandum like laid out some of the stuff, or lack thereof, that the state has. And it's like, what the heck? It really made people, a lot of us, just like start to look at it different. Like, do they get the wrong guy? I still don't know. I mean, I do think he's involved. I do think he's a bridge guy, but dude, I don't think so far from what I'm hearing, how the trial's going, I am worried. So far, I don't think I would be able to be on the jury and convict him and say guilty. There's too much doubt, too much freaking doubt, because they don't have crap. And I blame the freaking state. I feel like they dropped the ball on this so bad. Dude, if they would have been able, I mean, he was there at the bridge that day. So if they would have been able to look into him further that day, or not that day, like soon after the murders, they would have had so much more possible evidence against him. If it's him, I mean, you know what I'm saying? The DNA, there would have been maybe stuff at his house. It would have been not 5, 6 years old by the time they arrest him. You know what I'm saying? So then that evidence, now the evidence is gone. So if they would have been able to have looked at him when it was still fresh, then maybe they would have like a big piece of evidence, you know? Or maybe not, because maybe it's not him. So, but anyway, I want to just read this document. I haven't heard anything as far as how they ruled on it. I'm guessing she's probably not going to let it in, but I mean, they should. In all fairness, I'm not saying like I think that it was Odinism, because I don't know. I mean, I've looked into it and I was really convinced there for a while, and then I started like learning some other things, and I was just like, I don't know, no. But even if it isn't, that I'm still have doubts about Richard. But with that being said, I still do think they should be allowed to bring it in the trial. That's his defense. He's allowed to bring up alternative people and suspects. Isn't that the whole point of a defense? They try to show maybe a different alternative thing besides their client being guilty. That's what their job is. So I don't understand. I think they should definitely allow it in and then let the jury decide. But I just don't think that's fair that they're not allowing their defense in. Like, that's one of their alternative theories of what happened. And that makes like a stronger defense if it's like, oh no, he didn't do it. But if you could bring up an alternative theory, it makes a better defense. But I just don't understand why they aren't allowed to bring it in legally. Like, why wouldn't they be allowed? It doesn't seem fair. Like I said, not that I'm like sold on it or anything, but they should be allowed to bring it in and then let the jury decide, right? It says, comes now, the accused Richard Allen, by and through counsel, moves this court to admit certain evidence that this court thus far has prevented the defense from presenting to the jury. Pursuant to its September 4th, 2024 order, in support of said motion, the defense states as follows. On Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, CSI Brian Olehay testified concerning various aspects of the crime scene. During his testimony, CSI Olehay, I'm saying that right, Olehay, I don't know. No, it probably is Olehay, indicated that the sticks covering the girls was an attempt by the killer to conceal the girls' bodies. On September 18th, 2023, the defense filed its first Frank's memorandum, in which the defense laid out in painstaking detail the various pieces of evidence that provide support for the theory that the crime scene contains various signatures related to the Odinism Norse paganism. On August 1st, 2024, the defense provided the testimony of Dr. Dawn Perlmutter to the court. Dr. Perlmutter provided her CV and testimony at said hearing. Dr. Perlmutter's experience included, among other things, training the FBI and other local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies concerning how to identify a ritualistic crime scene and literally writing the book of ritualistic crime scene identification used by local, state, and federal law enforcement. After reviewing the crime scene photographs and other reports and documentation, Dr. Perlmutter's testimony included her assessment that the sticks on the bodies, F-tree, and other aspects of the crime scene were textbook signs of a ritualistic murder related to Odinism, Norse paganism, including using sticks and blood on the tree to form runes and bind runes. Dr. Perlmutter's belief did not come out of left field, as law enforcement began investigating the Odinism angle as early as 2 days after the girls were found, and law enforcement continued investigating the Odin Norse paganism angle until the death of law enforcement officer Greg Ferenczi in 2021. The state of Indiana has provided its explanation of what the sticks represent: concealment of the bodies. And Richard Allen has a Sixth Amendment right to offer the jury his alternative theory as to the reasons the sticks are aligned and arranged in the manner in which they are arranged. Denial of this opportunity to present to the jury all alternative explanations would leave the jury with only one explanation, the explanation provided by the state of Indiana. Additionally, the sticks on the girls appear to be arranged in a pattern arrangement, or at minimum, using a person's own eyeballs. Common sense, logic, and reason could cause a reasonable person to believe that the sticks were formed into some pattern arrangement and weren't being used to conceal the bodies. Therefore, it could or would be confusing to a juror who might think that the arrangement of sticks was intentionally placed in a certain arrangement on the bodies, but then those jurors aren't being provided with any explanation for the way the sticks are placed on the bodies in a certain arrangement. Evidence of Norse paganism, Odinism, would therefore assist the trial of fact and alleviate confusion for jurors. Additionally, it has been learned at the August 1st, 2024 hearing that the blood found on the F tree resulted in the state of Indiana retaining a blood spatter expert more than 7 years after the murders. Dr. Perlmutter's testimony would be offered in part to counter the testimony of the state's blood spatter expert, and the accused has a Sixth Amendment right to counter their blood spatter expert's testimony. Being able to provide evidence to the jury that the Odinism Norse paganism as an alternative explanation of the stick arrangement on the girls' bodies, including the testimony of Dr. Perlmutter, would offer the following: a rebuttal to the state of Indiana's explanation of why the sticks appear the way that they appear, consistent with the 6th and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution, a rebuttal as to the state of Indiana's blood spatter expert, an alternative explanation to any confused juror who believes the sticks and blood on the tree weren't used for concealing the bodies, but rather believes that the sticks were arranged by a Norse paganist Odinist as part of a ritual. Defendant files this motion currently in part for purposes of a ruling in anticipation of the need to contact other witnesses in the event that the court reverses its ruling. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you right now. I just wanted to read you that document. But look this weekend, I think I'm going to do a live on this case and just kind of go over the stuff that's been happening at the trial. So I'll see you guys then. All right, have a good one, everybody. Bye. And if you have to go,